That's offensive, as if those two words constitute an argument.
A number of figures on the left have denounced this show as racist.
That is very offensive.
Caitlyn Jenner was Woman of the Year, but she hasn't been woman for an entire year. Oh, that's so offensive.
Honestly, I find it offensive.
I am so offended.
I was offended and dismayed.
It's a lot of music full of the N-word.
That's racist!
By the way, and the B-word.
Everything is sexist.
And the H-word.
Hate speech is not protected by the First Amendment. Yes, it is. Threats are not protected by the First Amendment.
Everything is racist.
That's offensive to me, that kind of language.
Everything is homophobic.
And it's offensively unfunny.
Sometimes you don't choose the right words, or you say the wrong thing. I have done that.
$1984, good year.
No.
Good year. I think Michael Jackson's Thriller came out, and Caddyshack, American Classic, came out in 1984. It was a really good year.
George Orwell talking about like what a grim society would be. Do you know about this? Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. I was like, come on, this big conspiracy king that I know.
What are you talking about?
But anyway,
war is peace. Ignorance is strength.
Was Margaret Atwood's attempt to write a book like this, but from a woman's eyes. And then The Handmaid's was like, show is like, the chick who produced it was just doing it as a tribute.
Because it's like different, right? It's actually pretty different.
It's way different because in the book, like for example, like I saw this, they were talking about this the other day, but in the book, it's very racist. Gilead, this town, this place, you know, that they talk about, this city that they live in, and it's all staged in.
It's like Boston, though, right?
Yes.
It's like Christians
old,
in the north.
It's like old Boston. Yeah.
And they make Boston the capital, and
like,
it's real like...
It's crazy, like...
They're fighting a war against the rest of the country.
Imagine being a chick and showing up to work one day, and they're like, all of your assets just got transferred to your nearest male relative. You own nothing.
I kind of would like that.
Kidding me?
That'd be nice. I'd have a lot of money. I'd have money. I'm the man. I'd have the money.
I don't like it.
I'd have the money and I'd get to tell half the population what to do. Why wouldn't I like that?
We're in an interesting time where, like, you know, and I've watched it like throughout my college like education. Is like women are now becoming more so the breadwinners. Like, I mean, in the household, like
careers, yeah.
You know
Actual,
what I mean? Like,
careers.
well, just supporting the household. Like, who makes the most money now? And like a lot of my like, you know, women that I work with, they're the leaders in their household now, and guys are staying at home and taking care of the kids, which is totally fine. Like that's, but I just can't imagine like having to take a step back from that. Like that would be nuts. But
go back to like the 16th century. Feudal systems, feudal.
How this world happened was, you know, there were people.
Or like modern day Saudi Arabia.
That's another thing is that she only took
or like half of the world right now today. Yeah.
Yes, and she only took things that were had actually happened.
Oh, really?
Put it in the book.
So it's like it's all historical events.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something someone made up. That's the most terrifying part of it. Yeah. Is that the stuff are rituals that either exist or have existed at one point in time in somebody's existence.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Holy fucking shit. And how people twist the Bible to do.
Well, all the religious texts, right? It's like greedy rich people are going to take whatever religious text, whatever is like spiritual and binds the community together. Like rich people are going to take it and subvert it and twist it. You know, in order to like flip things upside down and like confuse and distract and make the community infight, because you're the rich guy, you want to be in control.
You want to control.
You don't want all the peasants all unifying around the one book, the one sacred book.
No, because you want to be comfortable, and you want to maintain your comfortability, and
which is why the Catholic Church is the one true church. Therefore,
that took a weird turn. That was just took a hard right.
In conclusion,
literally,
eat the flesh and drink the blood.
Wow.
All other churches are a farce.
You ever think God looks down and he's like, "I'm not with those guys"?
Yeah, a lot actually. Probably a lot. He's like, I made everyone, and like, again, he's like. I just feel like God does this a lot. Like, come on.
Like, what are you doing down there?
All right there. Come on.
What the fuck? So cool. So how's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. How goes it?
Yeah.
In the new house.
It is.
New house. It's a beautiful new apartment.
I know,
That's
right?
basically a house.
Like,
oh yeah.
I never thought that I would be living in San Diego.
Same.
With nice views. Like,
I'm actually going to move in January to Nashville.
dude, there a lot of people. I've heard this. I've heard people are going there.
I think just people are leaving. A lot of people are leaving right now.
Yeah.
All my friends that I've made since I moved here in like 2014.
Yeah.
They're all moved or they're moving away.
Yeah.
Like everyone. Like I literally am just like all of a sudden I'm looking around going like I don't have like my friends here anymore.
Everyone's gone. And plus, like, you know, you came out here, right? And you do see a cycle. The locals know the cycle pretty well, but like people who come in and they're like, I'm gonna live by the beach. It's gonna be awesome. And then they're like, holy shit, it's expensive. And then they're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, but then also,
the North Park becomes expensive. So
I think you realize too, like I'm from Arkansas and like, man, all I gotta do is like get a place here, live in it for a few years. If I could sell it, I can go back home to Arkansas and make a decent living and have a nice space and retire and focus on things I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, and you realize how attainable that is. And I've heard Nashville is the next upcoming place, actually, for people. I keep hearing this too, because you know what? Music. It's a music mecca.
Moving there for music.
Yeah, and they're poor.
Yeah. In the past, it's been
millennials are poor.
In the state, like, and so I was going to say this too because this is actually going to be the last That's Offensive episode on the North Park Radio Network. Because North Park Radio Network is going to be ending soon.
What are you going to call it down there?
So now it's going to be transitioning to my new network. That's going to be like my own kind of all encompassing blog / podcast streams.
Like Sean Corey Radio?
Yeah, kind of. It's going to be Sean versus the Planet.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so That's Offensive will stay as it is. Basically everything else other than That's Offensive is going to get cut out. And kind of mold and transition into just me being the host of everything. So in the future it might be a little confusing if you're like in the moment. It might be a little easy if you're like binge watching, binge listening and like actually seeing the cuts and the edits. But yeah, this will be, That's Offensive will continue, but on the Sean V Planet podcast network, which you can find at Sean V Planet or SeanVPlanet.com.
You're already ready.
Getting ready, yeah.
But ramping up.
I want to do everyone right, so I'm going to wrap up North Park Radio right. I'm going to finish all the interviews I said I was going to finish and do with people. One big last event we're kind of doing. I'm going to make tributes and thank yous to everyone that's been involved, like for sure. That's helped.
Wow.
But then, yeah, I'm going to kind of transition in a few months to the new network.
How exciting. You do so much work, like, and it's just like, I feel like and it was like this with my friend Todd, you just show up and be funny. And it's like, am I literally allowed to do this? Am I, like, I'm very much a fan of like pulling my own weight. And so it's just like, you've made it so easy, like, which is nice. But you're right. Like, if you're doing all that and not getting anything in return, like, you're like, come on, people. Like, I need something, and like,
There's been so many times where like I meet up with someone to do an interview and they're like, oh, like, I had no idea who you were, like what your name was. I just knew about this vague North Park Radio concept thing,
I'd never heard of you. You came up to me after the comedy competition and you were like, hi, my name is Sean. And would you like to be on my podcast? And I was like, whoa, this could be cool or could be scary. Because I think that every time I get invited to do a podcast ran by dudes.
By dudes, yeah.
I think I even told you guys the first time I showed up, I was like, oh fuck, I'm in this house with 3 other dudes.
In a room
and
that like literally looked like a casting couch room.
That's all that was in there was a couch in the room. And I was like,
no video cameras.
That's the kind of stuff your mom like specifically told you not to do ever, but never explained why. And now that I'm old enough to know the whys, I'm like, you go in those situations and you're like, one time I went to a recording studio with some guys, and I'd known the guys, but we come into the room, and my friend shuts the door behind him, and he's like, this room is literally soundproof.
Whoa.
And like, you're a girl in a room with like 3 or 4 guys, and like, they're buff dudes. You're not even like, I would be scared if I was a guy.
Okay, have fun in your soundproof room, guys. I'll be on the outside.
All right, well, and they're standing in front of the door. You're like, let's give it a minute. But seriously, you have like all these emotions that run through your head. But
I always have to have like an exit strategy in any room, in any situation.
Well, yeah,
you're always gonna have that,
dude.
And then I'll always just be like, fuck being polite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. When you get to that point where uncomfortable, you're like, yeah. And like, I even felt bad, like, because, I had come out to you guys about it, and I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to accuse you guys of being like creepy, rapey guys. But, I
get it. Like, I'm super aware. So I have, shout out to one of our favorite North Park Radio. I found out she's a very talented local young musician. She looks very young. I'm just not even being creepy at all. I'm just like, whatever. And then she had been following our stuff. We liked her stuff, just kind of back and forth Instagram likes. And I'm like, let's do an interview. And she's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And she likes our stuff. Turns out she's 16 years old.
Yay!
She put a post about how she just turned 16. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That just is creepy. Even if it's not creepy in my mind, it's creepy. Even if I'm not being creepy, it's still, there's no way for me to meet up with a 16-year-old girl. So I'm like fully conscious about it. So like in my mind, it's like, we're not going to do the interview.
Yeah.
But if I did, I would totally be like, I actually want you to bring a chaperone. I want you to be aware that there's dangers in the world.
Yeah.
Even if I know I'm not creepy. This is a creepy situation.
I could totally
be a 16-year-old girl and meet up with a 28-year-old man under the guise of, you don't even know my name. I'm just like a figurehead of a company. And then
I know.
I'm like, hey, let's meet up for an interview. I understand it's a creepy situation.
Yeah.
So I'm very well aware of that. I'm not creepy though. But it's like, I wouldn't take offense to someone saying this is creepy or you seem creepy. Like,
I'm just blown away by how some people are so naive about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, some people are so easy to take advantage of, and it's like, it's fucking terrifying. I don't know how people
I would be like, bring your parents, bring a bodyguard, bring a chaperone,
whatever you need to. Like, I'm literally here for just doing this radio, seriously. Right?
It's like, don't take offense to it. I think guys are a little hypersensitive sometimes about,
I know.
You thought I was a creep? Oh my, It's like,
That's
okay, dude, you can just have your feelings hurt a little bit by getting called a creep,
They're very dramatic.
They have to actually deal with, there's women out there dealing with situations where they actually have creeps they're dealing with, okay? Sorry, but or name calling. Sorry, bro.
That's true. Yeah, there are some men who
being
get
polite,
sensitive.
always take precaution,
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
If you're
when
a podcaster
dude out there trying to meet up with girls, understand and realize it seems creepy.
Yeah, and some of them might be underage.
Yeah. So beware of that. Do research on here. I mean, I knew she was 18, 19. She was young. She looked young. There's another girl, too, that was I don't even know her name. And now I'm at the point where, if you're not 22 or 23, I don't really want to meet up with you.
Well, I have something to tell you.
How weird is it that we're talking about it, though?
Yeah.
Is that weird?
We've gone a little long on the topic. I'm concerned for you.
Oh, God, I guess I am creepy.
Is there something you want to talk about, Sean?
I'm just creepy, I know. Damn it. Well, that did kind of lead me to what I wanted to bring up. Have you heard about the big news yesterday?
The big news yesterday.
Big conspiracy news yesterday?
About the gentleman who killed himself?
Yes. About Jeffrey Epstein.
Rapestein? I thought it was Rapestein.
No. Jeffrey Epstein. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you
I get
mock
my
that man?
facts mixed
That man
up.
is innocent until proven guilty, okay?
Hey, I don't know. All I know is what I've heard in the news, which is not good.
Yeah, so yesterday, for the listeners at home, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his jail cell. That is exactly what happened, you guys. The media and government told us exactly what happened. Stop being crazy, you crazy, loony conspiracy theorists. Stop it right now. How dare you assume that Jeffrey Epstein was killed?
Are you going to go on record with this officially?
He's officially he committed suicide in his jail cell.
You were interesting.
That's the story.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
Any thoughts?
Oh my God, there's so many fucking thoughts.
Now that I've addressed the fans at home, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know. See, that's the thing. We're getting into this time, and I'm going to even expand outside of that and be like, we had the shootings happen like in like short time spans of one another to get everyone excited right before this happens. It's just the timing of everything is super interesting, and it's just like, it all points to like mental health, right? Yeah. But then now what makes me scared about like everyone getting concerned about mental health is it's like the new Frankenstein mob. It's like people are just gonna jump on this like it's a witch.
Well, yeah.
But instead it's gonna be like it's a bipolar. Or it's a schizophrenic or whatever,
It one time took ADHD.
And so,
so therefore it's, has some kind of
it's a scary time because now it's like, okay, in a time when you want to be healing and talking about like those things, you're even more afraid to. Yeah. Because I'm curious to see what kind of measures come into place, or like how are we as a people going to like create rules that don't just round people up and lock them into fucking whatever
against their will
situations because
that's the red flag
they've been labeled as not okay, right? And so this is a thing that we have to be aware of. And like, I work in marketing. I hate to say it, I'm a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit, but I'm a piece of shit who grew up poor and will never want to do that again and fucking work my ass off. And I don't want to work 12 and 14 hours a day for the man. The man doesn't care about me.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I'm just trying to get what I can out of the man so I can, do my own thing one day, maybe. It's sad. It's so sad.
So you can be the man one day.
It's depressing. My man, my
Work
own
your way
man.
up to be the man.
I want to be my own man somehow.
There's operations for that these days. There are operations these days, I hear.
But the point I'm getting at is like, it's like marketing is like,
Satan,
gauging people, well, just collecting data and understanding
manipulation.
You know what?
It's all manipulation.
Sean likes this,
right?
and not just manipulation, but there's a whole other side of it. It's just I literally want to understand you and what you like in order to sell you stuff.
In order to like manipulate.
But now it's become to the point. It's like I don't even give a shit what you like. I'm gonna make you like this, and then I don't even have to come up with a new product. Definitely. So we've gotten lazy.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because the idea of marketing makes sense. You, Sean of North Park Radio, which doesn't exist anymore in a couple of weeks, want people to hear about you. And so you want to understand your demographic and you want to cater to them. Does it make you evil? No. Yeah. It makes you evil when you start altering people's like opinions and behaviors to think that your shit is awesome.
People,
yeah, and like manipulating people.
Product.
Or using sex, a fucking instinct to sell you stuff. I think that that's super unethical, and I think that eventually it's going to be like in the future they're going to be like, did you know that they used dudes' wieners against them and got money out of their pockets?
Well, I think if it's yourself, it's fine. If you're selling yourself as your own sex,
yes,
I had that thought the other day. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
No, you can say...
This is probably one of those thoughts I'm going to change in like 2 months, but I had this thought the other day where it's like, if I was photographing a hot woman and putting the picture and being like, buy my product, like that's kind of unethical. That's kind of like you're manipulating people. You're using sex to sell your product.
Yeah, like you
But if
use
you were,
Axe
like,
hair
an
gel
Instagram
and all of a
model-
sudden titties are in your face because you put
But
on
if it
some
was
hair
you,
gel.
if you were the model, you're taking a picture of yourself, or you're paying for pictures of yourself, and you're putting yourself on your product and selling it.
Oh.
Is that as ethical? I don't think it's definitely not as bad, but I even go to the point of like, I think that's probably pretty ethical. Like you're using.
Well, you're marketing yourself.
You're marketing yourself.
Right. So that's a little different.
But to go out of your way to like get a sex symbol object that's obvious, even if it's a dude, you're selling a 6-pack dude.
Yeah.
It's like no matter
or like,
what,
you're selling mascara.
Consciously trying to pitch your product because at a base level, other humans are going to respond to that.
That's
because of their primal urges,
yes.
not because of like your product's actually good.
That's
or
not
actually
okay.
needed or necessary.
Not okay.
It's like you're tricking people with their like primal.
It's like using bacon bits to sell to a dog, like or like bacon strips, and being like, "Hey, you want to buy this? Whatever." The dog's gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, I do. I don't even give a shit what you're saying right now. Give me that bacon strip."
Stop making me beg. We're begging over here.
But I mean, everything is like kind of.
But I think that's it kind of goes to this like red flag laws they're trying to pass now, which is crazy because all these people that were quote unquote the 2A quote unquote gun protected people are the ones that are now the ones like trying to write legislation to take the guns away.
Why are they
kind of crazy? Kind of seems like a big conspiracy. I don't want to get too deep into the corner. I don't want to back you too deep into the corner here. We are in the conspiracy corner, but I don't want to push you back too deep, I'm not fully convinced the Earth is round. 74% sure the Earth is globe.
You're teaching us how to take advantage of us.
Who on the moon told us not to go back? What aliens did they run into that were like,
people?
Get the fuck out of here and don't ever come back? The mafia aliens. But I don't think we went to the moon. Whoa. It's like a double government psyop conspiracy.
Oh, no.
It's gotta have an exit strategy.
Oh my god!
Like guys like Dan Crenshaw. So he, under the guise of being this like super like conservative Republican man, that's like the marketing he was branding himself as, right? Like an American patriot, like libertarian, like. And now he's the guy almost leading the charge for this like gun legislation, which is like pretty bad. It's pretty like, because the whole idea is like, well, if someone's crazy, you report them, and that police will go confiscate guns from them.
Dude.
But how do you determine? I mean, that's the question. Like, you could agree with that basic premise. Like, yes.
Oh my God.
Can we maybe, go take away the weapons from the crazy people?
Right.
The problem
how
is
how does one define crazy?
And does anyone get to just call up like fuck my neighbor?
Yes.
My fucking neighbor is, blah, 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 blah. You have like disputes with your neighbor, and now all of a sudden you get to just call the police up and have them go.
No,
take
because
his
that's
weapons
why the
away.
justice system exists. Is you can't just go around pointing things. If that were the case, you know how much. But obviously that's also corrupt. But yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that, like, everyone's talking about marketing, collecting data, but then it's like, all right, well, it's fine until one day, they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, Big Brother, whatever. But one day becoming you is all of a sudden illegal. Being you is illegal. Today you're fine. But what happens when you're illegal? And now I know all this data about you. I know exactly where to find you. Yeah. And like that, I think, is what we forget. And like they always say, like, remember the Holocaust, remember these times in history.
Wait,
where
the
Holocaust.
What? What was that?
Shut your fucking get me out of here. Wait, no, I'm part Jewish. Kind of. My stepdad's Jewish.
J-word.
Oh, no. All right. Well, it's out of the bag, right?
No, I can't make Holocaust jokes? No.
Well, no. All I'm saying is that this is something we have to remember because it happened once. And there's a big deal of why people keep talking about it after, yes.
We have a tendency to remember it for 10 to 15 years and then completely almost just repeat the cycle again.
Yes!
That's kind of what we do with every event. Like 9/11, like everything is just
kind of insanity.
Remember it, don't forget it. And we kind of do it.
We're like, it's hard. And then it's like working out. It's like dieting. It's
that was like 20 years ago, bro. Like
that is so in the past. I love when people say that about racism. That was like 100 years ago. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was fucking last Thursday, idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anyway, so yeah, you got to be aware and you got to be mindful and you got to not. That's why people should be allowed. That's where free speech becomes in jeopardy, you know, right? When like you're entering into an era where it's just like totalitarianism, where it's just like controlling everything about what you do.
Well, that's I don't know,
to make us all feel safe.
Well, let's get, because this is part of what I was gonna say. A real little segment of get to know your hosts.
Let's hear it.
So I was gonna ask some questions that are like some like questions that'll kind of expand who we are to our audience.
Okay.
And because one of them is like, what do you think about guns and the Second Amendment? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me tell you about me.
And then also, what is 1A? So what is your thoughts on the First Amendment? Two-part question.
Damn.
Hashtag
Are you
1A,
asking,
hashtag 2A.
Basically, you're saying, there's two sides of the room, and I'm going to need you to walk slowly towards one of those sides.
Or both of those sides.
I can do the splits.
Or none of those sides.
I can do the splits. Or a
it's
handstand.
Like a twister
I could
mat.
do a handstand.
It's like a twister mat, like right hand green, left hand blue. You're like, I can't do that, man.
You know, whatever. I mean, am I not allowed to have my own thoughts and opinions? Right?
No, this is the space for your absolute
safe space
unchecked
for
thoughts and opinions.
Right? That's why it's called That's Offensive.
Oh yeah.
Right? We're gonna offend some folks.
Yeah. We can get a little spicy. We can get a little touchy, a little feely.
Which one do you want me to talk about? Number one first or number two?
Yeah, let's go in order. 1A, free speech.
1A, free speech. As a huge fan of comedy and the comedic realm, I think free speech is important. I think it's important to be able to say things without... And we live in an amazing country, right? To where we can say things like, fuck whoever's in charge. Oh, yeah. Blatantly. We can make fun of them. And so I think it's our responsibility to remember that and kind of have some respect for the fact that we're able to do that. So it's, which is a challenge, right? Like, how can you talk shit and make jokes about an organization that also provides you with the atmosphere to be able to do those things?
Oh, yeah. You don't want to piss off the person writing your checks.
It's like biting the hand that feeds you, right? But
getting those checks.
But I like that we can get away with it, and that's what makes America amazing. Definitely. Is that you can do that and not get in a lot of trouble.
Well, you still can, but it's like...
But yeah, we have to protect it, and we have to be aware, you know? No, and we have to be aware.
And quartering in front of a...
But then at what point does it become like hate rhetoric and like something... When you're controlling the masses and influencing the masses, like, who gets to define that line? Like, who do we put in charge of this? Yeah. Are we putting the most pious, like, noble people we know in charge of this? No. Are we just putting whoever
never trust the man.
Happened to run?
That's why that was like the Constitution, right? Because it's like, you can't trust the man.
Duh.
You can't put the man, like a man or a woman.
They get lazy. They just get lazy.
Especially a man in charge. Definitely a man.
They get comfortable.
Well, it's just corruptible, no matter what. So that's why we had the Constitution, right?
The temptation is there.
Document, like the idea is the binding say who gets to say.
But what about like? I've heard this joke,
and then
but
we just kind of keep it going.
The Constitution was written by a bunch of white dudes, who were really smart, who decided to rebel against things, but. They were also white, and they also owned slaves, and they also didn't necessarily see women as people.
Yeah.
So fuck all of that.
Well, yeah.
But
bummer. those are American heroes. How dare you?
Well,
how dare you question those 300-year-old slave owners? How dare you?
Shit.
Those are American heroes, goddammit. Those are patriots. What have you done for your country? I think it's definitely crucial and vital to
So did that
be able
answer
to-
your question?
Well, definitely. I mean, yeah. But so like my answer is like for sure. Like I fully agree because I think you definitely need the right to walk right up to the king and just say "fuck you."
Yeah, and not get
And
beheaded.
be able to walk away. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
like,
That's amazing.
But it's also like in a free world, like in a free society, like in that society where you have the freedom to do that.
Right.
You also have to accept the consequences for your action. Which the king doesn't have a right, shouldn't have a right, doesn't ever have a right to, you know, whatever, kill you or round you up, torture you. But people have a right to go, well, look at that asshole.
You're an asshole.
Making fun of our king. You know what I mean? Like, let's not do business with
you
him.
open yourself up to
I don't
the
have
public.
to let him in my bathroom, so I don't have to serve him food. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you, dude. Yeah. I like the king.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you should have the right to say whatever you want to whoever you want. As long as it's peaceful, as long as it's, you know, in the right, you know, you can't go on someone's, walk into someone's house and start yelling at them.
Who defines this? That's,
You
again...
have to be in public spaces or private spaces you're allowed in, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it should be completely unchecked, unconsequential free speech, but you also have to accept the
Yes.
You have to take personal
You have to have
responsibility
respect.
in the social, peaceful sphere, like in the voluntary interaction sphere in society.
Absolutely.
So I fully believe in that. So it's weird. So it's like, yeah, I believe in free speech, but also like, if you're talking shit, man, you're gonna get your ass beat. Like, not by me, but it's like you just gotta accept that. Like, if you're just, you can't just go walking around like Bagel Boss guy,
right?
Walking around talking shit to everyone.
Being
it's like
a
eventually
dick.
someone's gonna come up and be like, slap you down and be like, no,
Right.
dude, shut the fuck up.
And there's always
You
a
gotta
bigger
kind of
dick
accept
than yours
those,
in
like,
the room.
social consequences for your action. I think, you know.
Yes.
I'm not justifying violence at all. I actually agree in the non-aggression principle, which leads me to my thoughts on 2A.
Yes.
Which are the non-aggression principle, which I believe full self-defense. And when it comes to guns, when it comes to weapons, I actually think, personally, I think I think we have way too many laws. Like, I think we have way too many restrictions in place because I think people should like have the right to defend themselves with whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to put fucking artillery on your house. Scare the neighborhood away. You're gonna come fuck with me and my family, dude? I got artillery shells coming at your ass.
So
I got a tank in my driveway, man. I will put my family in this tank and we will blow ourselves out of your city if you try to garrison us in, you know?
Here's the deal.
But only in self-defense. So that's where you draw the line. That's where I draw the line every time. I think you have the unchecked ability to own whatever weaponry or machinery or tools, defensive capabilities, whatever it is. I think you should have a right to own that and have that. But you draw the line at being the aggressor. So all that's self-defense because you never know who's coming after you. It could be a thug, it could be a robber, it could be your enemy, it could be a crazy psychopath roaming the streets, killing people. It could be the fucking Chinese. You know what I mean? It could be the goddamn Russian government coming 20 years from now when shit breaks out. And yeah, it's inconceivable right now, but when shit breaks out, you know, there's going to be countries coming for us, you know, and it'd be nice if we all had guns instead of, you know, just some of the government forces.
Oh, that's a terrifying thought.
Or if the government goes crazy. I mean, there's so many like different possibilities and capabilities that are like, yeah, they might even seem crazy, but like 20, 30, 50 years from now, who fucking knows what's going down? I mean, we could be fighting robots in 50 years too.
Who knows,
you know,
man?
Terminator style. It's like, I'd like everyone to have a bunch of high-powered weapons just in case.
What if we
aliens or robots or our government or the Chinese or the Cubans or the Asian or the birds or the whoever's coming at us, we need to have all the weapons ready and able. But that's where you draw the line, is you don't aggress, you just defend. So if you're the aggressor, I think you should be punished. I think you should have your fucking
suffer the consequences of your actions.
If you are some aggressor that takes a gun and starts shooting people, you should never have a right to ever own a weapon ever again. If you're the aggressor, like that should be your punishment forever, like felt like a felony kind of thing, you know. But I don't know. I really draw the line at that. I think everyone absolutely deserves 100% of the ability to defend themselves.
Right.
But that's the thing: defense.
Totally.
And I'm also like, the reason I wanted to bring that up and finish my rant is because I think that's crucial to protecting 1A. So I think if you are in full support of like freedom of speech, it's like you almost have to be in defense of being able to protect it, right? Yourself and your community.
Well, that's
rant over. Mic drop.
Okay.
So yeah, in conclusion, it's like, I think the assholes should not have guns for sure. Like if you're an aggressor, if you're a violent person, like provably, not just like I say so. I say that my next door neighbor is an asshole and potentially threatening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't get the right to have him locked up or whatever. But if my next door neighbor is, shooting cats and threatening to kill people as an aggressor, yeah, they should go take his fucking guns away. And he should never be able to own a gun ever, or any kind of weapon, knives, swords, anything. And I should also have a right to own a fucking machine gun, just in case that guy decides to come over and get me. You know what I mean? Like, I think I should own whatever the fuck I should be able to own. Like,
wow.
Because I'm a responsible person, like, who would, like, right.
Okay.
Yeah. We can keep going. I can keep going.
That was a lot. No, I'm gonna take it in.
12 more minutes, 15 more minutes. I'm
gonna take it in, and then I'm gonna come back and try to hit those things that you hit on.
Let's start with the tanks. Do you think people should own tanks?
Holy shit!
Tanks and then machine guns. What do you think we should own?
All right. Well, here's the deal: is criminals are criminals? Why? What makes you a criminal?
It's weakness. Cowardice.
No.
Insecurities.
Not following the law.
Lack of father or mother figure in your life.
Not following the law. Okay?
Yeah, well, yeah, technically.
That's what makes one.
Oh, yeah.
That's what defines one as a criminal.
You're actually smart. I'm sorry.
And so that.
I forget that there's like people that like actually think correctly and like intelligently every once in a while. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, but no, seriously, is that so creating more laws is not going to affect their behavior, which are the ones that you're concerned about.
Yeah.
Right? And so if guns exist, then people who do follow the laws should be able to protect themselves against people who do not follow the laws.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because guns exist. So in an ideal world,
if we wish hard enough.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying
hard enough.
I'm not saying it's the ideal, and I'm not saying that I support guns. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is those facts that I just stated, which are bottom line. And in the world we live in, you should have one. And I grew up in Arkansas, so I know about. There's people, fucking believe it or not, city folk out there. There's people who live in the woods and they survive off of hunting and fishing their food.
Definitely. Yeah.
And they exist.
Or they defend their
And guess what?
Crops.
Those people are all around the world, actually. More like that than how we live with our fancy mystery hole toilets where we poop and it just boop, gone somewhere. I don't know. Somebody's pipe.
It's a pipe somewhere.
That's what we get.
Pipes to pipes.
But we are very special in comparison to the average human being on Earth. So,
It's an equalizer, right? The weak can equalize the strong. I would say it's women's rights too. That's my big defense. Like if I ever hear like my friends that are girls like advocate against guns, it's like you 100-pound little tiny
you have to deal with
22-year-old girl that has zero training
one.
with any kind of martial arts or self-defense class at all.
Right.
You know what? You're going to literally call the police and hope and pray, or like scream loud and hope that someone's going to come save you and not pull out their cell phone and record you getting assaulted and raped. You know.
You know what?
I don't know. Awesome. I think it's the equalizer to fucking pull a Glock out of your goddamn purse and cap a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I think hand-to-hand combat,
protect yourself.
like hand-to-hand combat with no weapons would be awesome if they could teach that in high school.
They should.
Like,
They should definitely.
Like wood shop,
we're
like how to make
at each
stuff.
other.
We shouldn't be throwing
for physical
dodgeballs. We should
exercise.
do hand-to-hand combat.
We should be doing karate class.
That's some
If you don't want to take
totalitarian
karate, you
shit,
take
though.
jiu-jitsu.
We can't do that. That's scary.
Dude, that's some North Korea shit.
That's what I was
But like
thinking.
the shit that they do right.
That.
Shit.
No. Oh, no.
Like, there's some shit that North Korea does right, and that's one of them.
Well, okay, how about this? The Japanese, their kids grow their own food. Let's start there. They grow their own
That's
food.
part of it, too. So instead of going to fucking whatever, home ec class or computer class,
grow your own
garden
food.
class.
Yeah, totally.
We need to be teaching kids how to garden, how to fight.
Yeah. What are we
guns,
preparing for?
How to have babies.
We should.
How to not have babies.
Oh, no.
Like, we need to be doing how to pay taxes. No one knows how to do that.
No one knows how to do that, or like how to balance a checkbook.
No.
Or like,
what do you do in high school? You like literally like sit around on the fucking computer playing games.
Yeah,
playing sports.
Like, you're a babysitter. They're babysitting, you know, like
repeating garbage bullshit facts that like literally get proven wrong.
And then you find out, you're like, oh, you know, because I
Welcome
knew.
to school. You have to go 8 hours a day during the most crucial developmental years of your life.
And it's funny because you know, they teach us these things where everyone that invented something, like some white guy from America, but then you're like, oh, you get in college and you're like, oh, you mean somebody in China invented that hundreds of years before?
Oh, some white guy got in a ship and went and found the person that invented that thing. Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm so
and
naive.
Then we used guns to shut them up and
fucking guns.
Get the credit.
Shit. You know, Idiocracy is back on Netflix and or Hulu. I can't remember one of, but it's so fun to watch, and it's just like, oh my god. Sometimes you got to be careful, man.
It's true. But back to the important question.
Yes.
Tanks on the street. What do you think?
No. We don't
What do you
need
think?
tanks.
I
You know
want a
why?
tank. You're going to stop me from getting a tank?
Okay. Here's the deal. I think
I'm
seeing
not
a
even gonna put
tank
any
for you and
shells in
I
it.
is
I just
not
want
a traumatic thing, but I think there's some people in the world where seeing a tank probably brings them back to the most traumatic experiences of their fucking life.
Yeah, and then they can get a tank to hide it. If they're scared of my tank.
I don't know, man.
I don't even want like the tank to drive around in. I just want the tank in my garage so that when shit goes down, I have an escape route.
What if I made a tiny house inside a tank?
Exactly.
That'd be fucking
little bed,
dope.
Little bed,
A little fold-out bed? Yes.
A little piss pipe.
A tiny
Right
tank.
to the-
I'm going to start selling these.
A little piss pipe.
We're
right
going to
off the
get
street.
rich, Sean.
Yeah. At the very least, okay, I get it. Okay, I can understand the tank because it's like, okay, I don't really trust other people. I mean, just driving over here, I was literally screaming in my car, drive better at cars. You know what I mean? Drive better. Drive better. Just drive better. I yell that all the time in my cars.
Yeah, you don't need a
Cindy
tank.
was horrible. It's like, it's half and half. Some people are so fucking bad in the worst in the direction of like old man, drive too slow, no turn signals, and then the other half of the people are insane, where they're cutting and weaving. Oh yeah, sweet. I'm actually grab a Belgian Beaver. Shout out Belgian Beaver, former North Park Radio affiliate, and their peanut butter milk stout. It's fucking delicious.
Ooh, that sounds really yummy.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't really trust people to drive around with their weapons on the streets, you know? I guess that's true. But definitely machine guns and like turrets. Like I need to be able to put a turret on my
from
house.
From a logical perspective, though,
I need to definitely be able to have like a you know,
you
castles,
don't need a machine gun to protect yourself.
Castles with like
that's ridiculous.
360 machine gun on top of each point of each corner of my castle.
Unnecessary.
Oh, it's totally necessary.
No, necessary.
When the Russians come,
when the
Russians come, and you guys are all coming to my fucking castle with goddamn turrets on it.
The military that everyone hates on so much will be there to protect you.
Oh yeah. Trust your government.
Not trust your government.
Trust your government, bro.
But who serves in the military? You know people. They're regular, everyday people.
That's the fallacy of people, that whole idea of like, they're coming for your guns. It's like, dude, no one's coming for your fucking guns. The people they're going to send to come for your guns are the people with guns who are going to say, no, you're not coming for my guns. I mean, half the police force, 3/4 of the military are all going to be like, no, I'm not following your crazy tyrannical orders, you know?
They'll try, yeah.
There'll be infighting. That's the problem. There'll be enough infighting. There'll be enough blowback. There'll be enough resistance, like just enough where it's not
I hate to even think about it. Why does it have to be like
Americans are too philosophically different than other countries, like Cambodia and stuff, where you could pretty much like have a spiritual leader trick some people into like giving up their guns. Like, that shit happens.
Right.
We're like literally the spirit of our culture is like, I'm free, motherfucker.
Fuck that. Yeah. I know.
Like, this place is free.
You have to appreciate
Even if
that
it's not, I mean, they've
aspect.
subtly, obviously, over time, they've subtly tricked us into giving up our freedoms. I mean, that's undeniable, right? It's just a matter of if you agree with it or not. But our freedoms have been slowly eroded since the Constitution was written.
But it all is our fault. It's all written down to be your fault. Like, you didn't educate yourself enough. You didn't, it's all like blaming the poor for, it's your fault for being poor. It's your fault for being uneducated. But no attempt was made to educate you for sure, but opportunities were there, right? And you
can't have the population being too smart.
It's
they'll rise up and realize.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to hate on us for the condition that we're in today.
Hate us.
Ourselves.
Let the hate out.
They hate us because they are us. What?
Hate us because they ain't us. Are you saying ain't us or ain't us? Ain't us.
Ain't us.
Both, motherfuckers.
Because they ain't us.
So a couple other questions, though, the get to know your hosts.
Oh, no.
What is your hometown?
Oh. All right. So, because I'm a military brat, I don't know. I've lived the longest almost here, but I'd say Benton, Arkansas is my hometown. Benton. BENTON 72015. Why are you collecting this data about me?
No reason. Next question is, what is your the street you grew up on name and the name of your pet and the middle name of your mother and the CCV of your credit card? Go. Don't ask questions why I'm asking you these questions.
Okay.
Also, don't ask questions why your bank account's missing money.
There's no money in there, though. Like, how could I be missing more something I don't have?
Yeah, well, I'm from Champaign, Illinois. It's like the weirdest big city, but also a small city at the same time. I don't know. I always say it's a small town to people here because it would, like, people, if they went to my town, would, like, they would be weird. It would be like, it would feel like a cornfield small town.
But it was the big town where you're from?
Where I'm from, it was like the kind of a big city. It was like, I mean, it's obviously not Chicago, but it's like college town, kind of big. It's like 3 cities in one, Champaign, Urbana, and then there's also Savoy. And it's kind of like, if you just combined everyone together, it's like 100,000 people. It's like kind of big,
Yeah, that's huge. That's like a lot of people.
Middle of nowhere.
100,000 people is a lot of fucking people. We don't realize
it's like
this.
Relative. I always say when I meet people, I'm like, I'm always from Chicago.
But Champaign.
But then when someone's like, I'm from Chicago, or they're like, I'm from the Midwest, like, oh, I'm from Wisconsin, I have to almost be like, oh, okay. Actually, I'm from Champaign. Because they'll know.
Yeah.
They'll know Champaign.
Yeah.
Everyone in the Big Ten area, too. They know University of Illinois. It's a big school that plays all the big schools in sports, important sports stuff,
Yeah, sports.
All the sports stuffs they do. But yeah, so it's like that. So I kind of almost just tell everyone I'm from Chicago here.
Nice.
So if people here are like, yeah, Sean's from Chicago, and you know me, and you're like, dude, Sean's not from fucking Chicago.
I never would think that. I think only a Chicago person, first of all, only a Chicago person would think that. Like, no one, someone from Chicago would be like, he's not from fucking Chicago. Everyone else
That's
is
an
like,
East Coast mentality. Like, oh, you're not actually from there, bro.
You're not from Boston.
You're not from Philly, bro. I'm from Philly.
Yeah, and so
I'm from like 20 minutes outside of Philly. Oh, that's not Philly, bro.
To everyone else, you're all from New England, okay? No one gives
over there. Yeah. We don't give a fuck. What is it, like New York? Okay, DC,
whatever.
Dude.
Champaign,
Close
Chicago,
enough.
fine, whatever. Is it all in the state of Illinois? He's from fucking Illinois. I don't know.
Does it matter? Not really.
No, only to people from there.
It's kind of like my name too. So I've grown accustomed to that because my name growing up is Sean Corey. Mm-hmm. It's like the dumbest, simplest name. that causes so much unnecessary confusion. People don't know how to
It's
spell
two
it.
first names.
There's 6 ways to spell each of those names.
Are you Corey or Sean?
See? Exactly. Growing up, it was like in elementary school, I had Corys. So when I was a little kid, there was always a bunch of Corys in my class, like preschool, sports teams. So I went by Sean, right? Obviously. Yeah. But then in like middle school and high school, there was like 3 or 4 Seans. So then I started kind of going by Corey. I mean, I was still Sean pretty much, but it was like I kind of also would go by Corey if it was ever like in a classroom full of these other
You make
Seans,
it easy
you know?
for everyone.
Because that's the first name too. Yeah.
That's like Jessica and Jessy.
Jessy, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. So you probably had those classes where you have 3 Jessicas. It's
Yeah,
like
so I
one
was
turns
like,
into
I'm
Jessy,
Jessy now.
one
Yeah.
turns into Jess, one gets to keep her name, one turns into the last name. Like if she has a funny last name,
Sometimes
you
you're
can make a nickname out
Pitcock.
of.
I mean, I got called Pitcock a lot.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that from like teenage boys. Yeah.
They're just excited to be able to say cock. Like they're like, I can get away with it,
yeah.
and it's totally fine.
Like when I in middle school bought a hat that said Cox on it because it was like a South Carolina Gamecocks hat, and they just put out hats that would just say like, Cox.
Boys are so.
And I was like in 7th grade, and I thought it was so funny because it's like, look, it's a real team.
You're hilarious.
And it's like, how many people looked at a little 7th grade boy and went like, what a little perv, like what a
little
horn dog kid.
Wanted to wear cocks to school. Fucking.
What a little creepy kid. Well, then I was going to ask, what neighborhoods have you been in San Diego?
Oh.
So for me, it's been just North Park.
Oh.
North Park and a little bit of Little Italy.
Okay.
And like 2 weeks of La Jolla.
Ooh.
And then I've had like 7 years of North Park. In and out of different apartments and stuff, yeah.
Wow, okay. So
hence North Park Radio was
yes, that's how it's born.
not some bullshit. It was
I feel
kind
like
of
I'm
my life
learning
for the
so
last
much
7
about
years,
you, Sean.
Yeah, this is get to know your
This is good.
North Park Radio
Yeah.
host. That's gonna not be North Park Radio anymore.
Bye. Yeah, cool. So I've been to Ocean Beach. I never lived there though, but I've always gone back and forth. I have really good friends who live there over like the course of 10 years. I lived in Pacific Beach, like, you know, and then I lived up in North PB for a little bit, which is like, you know,
Bird Rock almost.
Yeah, but underneath,
Tourmaline,
you know.
right?
I was on Cass and Agate.
Cass is a good one.
Which, you know.
Cass Expressway, right?
Good times, you know. And I worked at the little animal hospital there on Turquoise for a while, and then I lived in Linda Vista, which is like Claremont, past Claremont over there. And then now
all the vistas and mesas have always confused me. People from here like laugh at me, but I'm always like, I always confuse like La Mesa and like Mesa College.
Oh no.
And it's like so different.
Yeah, way different.
But it's just like in my mind, it's the same word. It's the same thing, same place, same word.
And I've worked in Poway for like 9 years, so I know that part of San Diego as well. And then Mira Mesa is pretty cool. That's where all the Filipino food is. And then and then Kearney Mesa, I used to work there at the Comedy Palace for a little bit.
Shout out Comedy Palace.
Comedy Palace, hey.
Cute little club.
Yeah, it's good.
They're on Claremont Mesa.
They're on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. Yeah. That's right.
And the 163.
Right by the 163, right by the courthouse. Like, or like whatever, like where you go to traffic, like
so when you
to
get
your
a drunken
traffic
disorderly
citations.
ticket in the parking lot after a show, you can
right across,
later just, you know,
right next to it. Yeah,
right there for your court date.
Yeah. And North Park, I never really hung out, and you know, I mean, I know some friends there. I have friends who live there, and I've gone to a few bars, but yeah, Little Italy is good. Yeah. I'm not a downtown person.
It's too expensive.
Which is funny. Everything to me that's south of PB is downtown. So like I lump Little Italy with that, North Park, all that shit is downtown.
Anything south of the
to me.
You're like, this is Balboa Park.
Oh, downtown you mean?
We're on Adams Avenue.
And I confuse people. They're like, that's not downtown. I'm like, well, it is to me, you know? Like
it's that stuff over there.
Oh, and
I'm kind of the same way with like North County though, because I'm like, I usually even put like La Jolla in that kind of.
What?
I almost what's that, the 52? I almost do the kind of that. Like anything north of the 52 is North County.
North County, that's hilarious.
Yeah, all that stuff up there. You know what I mean? Like UCSD, like that's totally like Torrey Pines. That's totally North County, bro. Exactly. Anyone that's like from here is like, dude, shut the fuck up. You know what you're talking about. Where is North County start though? Del Mar or Carmel or Cardiff or Encinitas? Like where would you draw that? Really? So Cardiff
would say I don't know.
See, I would definitely put
maybe
Cardiff.
Cardiff, like is that before Encinitas? Because I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, okay. If it's before, I'm sure like in between Del Mar and Cardiff.
You wouldn't say Del Mar, so I would kind of put Del Mar as like the line.
It'd be like towards North County.
Like the racetrack. Almost like I would say the racetrack would be like if I was to literally draw a line, it would be like that valley, that like the marshy valley that the racetrack's
the protected area there,
whatever that is.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the line. But is that right or not?
I don't know,
Probably
but
not.
I agree with you. It's right in this room.
Everyone probably has a different opinion, right?
Well,
kind of depending where they
probably ask a local and see what they say. I'm sure they have their own definitions.
Don't ask anyone from North County because they're always stuck up and snobby.
Oh no, they are.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Always snobs, says the snob.
Whoa. Right.
Says the North
in
Park
a very
hipster,
snobby.
Pretentious fuck.
Damn pretentious North Park people.
Well, next is, what is your gender?
Oh no.
/ preferred pronoun.
You know what's funny is, you really want to ask me this. Sometimes I think, well, for sure I'm a female. I have a vagina, and I'm attracted to dudes.
Prove it.
But sometimes I do feel like I am more on the masculine side of the spectrum as far as women go, because like I mounted like in the last 2 years I've mounted like 2 TVs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, and I've always like, you know, I grew up with my dad, and like, you know, I've always hung out with the boys. You know, it was just a path I went down. And I wasn't like, some of my girlfriends were really girly, and I've always been embarrassed to do girly stuff, which is stupid because I'm a girl. Yeah, like I'd be like, that's kind of gay, but like, am I even allowed to have that thought? Like, you know, as a woman, like, how stupid does that sound? Like, and the fact that I feel that way makes me think like maybe there's a side of me that's like sees myself as in a very masculine light sometimes, and like the fact that doing girl stuff like embarrasses me, like, it's kind of stupid. Like, it shouldn't, right? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
being a girl is embarrassing
whatever,
all the time. Just like, you know, when you
so
first
different.
like,
You can't box people in.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I don't think there's 52 genders that everyone needs to kind of pander and pretend exist.
Like, I mean,
but like also like,
you know, that's why I broke it down. Like, my genitals are X and I like to fuck X. That's really what people want to know. Yeah. Like, honestly, like,
one of my best
what do you have going on down there, and what do you like going in there? Like, you know, that's it. Like,
it's like personal preference.
It's very simple, and it's personal. Like, why should that even matter? I mean, I guess it could matter in certain scenarios, but like, for the most part, like, it really doesn't. Like, you know, and then we make such a big stink about it, and we should just kind of not make such a big deal about it. Like, just let people live their fucking lives and not give a shit about what's going on down there. Why is that your business?
True. But counterpoint, because I agree, but on the flip side, you don't have to tell everyone your sex stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, some of that stuff, it's in the opposite direction, where it's like, dude, totally, you should be free to be whoever the fuck you want. Like, without any kind of persecution, honestly. Like,
right.
But also, like, do you need to like really push it on people and shove it in people's face? Like, like, you're a dude and you're just like,
a dude's like,
I love sucking dick, and everyone's like, dude, this is a family reunion.
No, I get it.
You don't need, like, we love you, we respect your choices.
I fucked like
in your
3
free time,
bitches last
Jeff,
night.
I don't really
we don't care.
Just
right?
this is a family reunion. Can you please just not talk about how you like penis in your butt?
Oh, okay.
Just
well,
please, like, it's okay. Like, you just don't have to bring it up.
Yes,
But it's
that's
like a
an
thing. Like, yes,
example.
you can love and respect and support those people, like, truly. And, like, truly, like, being like, yes, go do your thing, dude. But also, like, I don't want you, like,
okay,
talking about all your sex stuff all the time in my face. Like, and that goes for my straight friends too. Like, I don't want to hear about your poly lifestyle with your second boyfriend. Like,
Thank you.
Can you just talk about like what you're doing and like have a fun time tonight? Like, I don't need to hear about your like second boyfriend.
That's all I wanted to say is that it also applies to straight people too. Like, it's not just a gay thing. It's like that guy that's like, I fucked like 3 bitches last night.
Yeah, it's like, cool,
like,
bro.
I fucked one in her
Awesome,
ass,
man. I
and
wanna
then
hear
the
about all
second
the
one like
sluts
sucked my dick after. It was awesome. Like, and you're like, that's the same. You don't want that either, you know. Like, just you don't want to hear any of that. You know, it's no one's business.
Exactly.
But
you should be free to go be a whore.
Well,
male or female,
totally,
too.
and free speech.
You wanna
should
be a male and go out and
should
whore
be
around
able to,
PB,
to
go
free
and
to
do it.
talk about it because we talked about free speech. We already talked about it.
true.
But yeah, guess what? You are free not to listen. Did you know
And
that?
I'm free to mock you.
You are free, or you
I'm
are
free to mock you,
to walk
insecure
the
piece of
fucking
shit.
way. Most people are very insecure. Very insecure. You know how terrified? That's why I think, like, it's interesting. People are always talking about how stand-up terrifies them. And I think it's because they're insecure.
Same. That's me.
That's it, you know. Like, but you
My
gotta be.
knees shake.
But then I guess being.
I can't
but
stop
I'm
my
not
knees from
saying that I feel secure by any means.
Yeah. Well, I need to just
saying that by
become. I
any
need to just own it and
So-
become the knee shaking comic.
Yeah,
But I also don't want to have to be the guy that every time he gets on stage has to spend 2 minutes talking about shaking knees while his knees keep shaking.
Well, don't do that. Don't
I
just talk
can't-
about something else.
I can't make him not.
Just go right
I
into
can't
your.
get him to not shake.
You know what?
And I
go
can't
right
not
into your
talk about it,
your
you know what I mean?
conspiracy theories, and I think that'll sell right
Like,
away.
MK Ultra fucked up
just
my
start
knees.
talking about it,
I'm a product. My knees are a product of MK Ultra.
right? Dude.
They got the Michael J. Fox condition.
Wow.
Too offensive? Is that too offensive?
No. You know, we started talking about like the news and the guy who got who killed himself, quote unquote. But yeah, I don't know if I believe that Rapestein.
Rapestein, child sexting.
Has anyone turned that yet? Because I'm gonna.
Oh, for sure. I haven't seen it, but for sure.
All right. Well, if you haven't,
I meme now.
You heard it here live.
I meme now, and it's like I've gotten over the fact that like this has been memed before.
Okay.
Like, you just got to be true and authentic to yourself, and just also understand that like this shit's been done. This tweet's been tweeted.
Fine.
It's not original, but it is original to you and your true self.
Yeah, you came up with it in your head.
I spent too much time like when I come up with
Stressing.
something funny or like some good poem, and I'm like I have to like double check that I'm not like quote unquote plagiarizing because it is like a. I've started to kind of get over that like worry and just be like, you know what, dude, I'm just true to myself. Yeah.
I want to eat this chip. I don't want to eat it in front of this microphone. Oh man, speaking of diets, Brian and I want to invent a refrigerator, and in order to open it, you got to stand on the scale.
You can cheat that though. You can totally cheat that.
Scale doesn't like weigh the right amount, like it won't open.
You'd have to do like more of like a
How
a heartbeat monitor or something, like something that would be low. Because then like, so say I'm like, fuck, I'm a little over.
Like pick the dog up and put the dog on this.
Well then you get on the scale and I'm like add some like hold this stack of books. And you're like, oh, it's 10 pounds too short, and you're like adding more books, and then you're like, oh, too much, and you take one book off, and you're like, okay, perfect.
I'm just saying it might sell.
A few ways to cheat that. But yeah, my gender's male.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty male.
Okay.
I'm pretty male, and I like pretty straight.
Okay.
Sadly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think
a lot
you
of
have
my
any
friends
effeminate features about yourself? Anything that you do you think
not
is more
really.
like feminine?
I wish though.
Side.
I wish. I've been raised in and around women, so I like sympathize with women. I'm very like protective of women.
Mm-hmm.
I can like understand and relate to a lot of like women problems.
Is there anything that girls generally do that guys don't that you're into?
I'm not really like feminine. Like I mean, every once in a while, I'll like spend an hour listening to like Ariana Grande and like truly getting into it.
What about the fact that
But then
you're
it just
social?
ends and stops, and I'm just like,
What
I
about-
gotta go actually do some man stuff now.
What about you're a social person?
Social? What do you mean?
You're a talkative person, which is more in the women's
Feminine, yeah.
realm, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is, you know,
Call me a chick, bro.
yeah, you fucking fag.
Call me a fucking chick, bro.
No, but I'm saying, you know, open up your mind
Yeah.
to like, you know, and maybe I'm being stereotypical saying, labeling these things as male or female, you know, like me saying
Like the binary.
being able to put up a TV is like a male thing, or like being able to be communicative is like a female thing. But I do think we have our
Like a
wheelhouses.
fluidity of it, yeah,
I think, and we, meaning, I guess the
between the
masculine
spectrum, right?
and the feminine side, if you were to gauge everything by this scale and be like, all right, is it a masculine thing or a feminine thing? Like, you know, but that's how my brain is. It's
Like
weird.
one or.
Yeah, I gotta categorize things so I can understand them.
Yeah, I don't know. I spent the last few years kind of wishing I was gay because all my friends are gay, and I'd like go to like clubs with them.
Yeah, they're all hot and in shape.
All these like hot dudes
And they
just
make
hit on me
good
all the time.
money.
Like I am like primo man.
You're
meat.
like a bear. You're like a nice
And like
little
my
bear.
job is like one of I have there's 3 locations, so I'm pretty much at one. But
Yeah.
like sometimes I cover shifts at another, which is right next to one of the biggest gay nightclubs, you know, in town.
Yeah.
And like those people, it's like nightclub party. It's like hot gay dudes, and they're like coming over, and it's like party, and they're like, "Hey, cutie, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And I just kind of have to just be like, I'm
sorry.
straight, you know.
Yeah.
Like so, I mean, I appreciate that
Thank
you're like
you.
hot and sexy and like partying and like I want to get with me, but it's like, man, I'm just straight.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Like-
It's like, why can't this happen but with women? So I feel like my life would be so much easier for the past 5 years if I was just gay. Like I could just be slamming hot dudes all the time. Like for real. Like slamming dudes. Just
Yeah.
getting that dick, you know what I mean? Getting tons of dick all the time. Slamming that dick. But I'm just not. Like I just truly am not.
Our new neighbor's gonna be like, "What the fuck just moved in next door? What?
Get this guy some dick. Jesus. He is yelling about it.
What is happening out there? Is that a door?
But yeah, I'm regrettably straight. Haven't found Mrs. Right. I'm kind of over fucking around.
You know
So
what?
I'm pretty much just going on dates, and like it keeps not working out because I think all the girls I go on dates with are like expecting me to like the fact that I'm kind of even being weird a little bit at the end of just being like, okay, it was nice to meet you. Let's meet up again in a week, you know? That's weird now because
How
all the
old are
girls
you?
my age in San Diego
Or like,
are like,
he didn't
what, he doesn't
want
want
to
to fuck me?
like the
He's not
first
trying to fuck me?
night.
He must not
I
be
don't
into
want
me.
to fuck me. Well, first of all,
So that second date keeps not happening.
how old are
Even though
these
it's, like, pretty
girls?
good
How old are
dates.
these girls? And
20s.
And how old are you?
20 to 8.
Yeah. So,
I mean, well, they're like 24,
Hey,
26,
you know,
28. I'm 28. It's like same age. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, when you get in your 30s, it's a whole different ball game.
Right.
Like, and I didn't know this because I was in a relationship my whole 20s, and then when I got my 30s, like, you know, I was still in like 20s mode. I was like, I went through this phase where I was like banging 27-year-olds. It was hot. They have a lot of stamina, but they're also like not where I was. Like I was, you know, I was more like looking for something meaningful. These guys were not.
No. Oh, yeah. No. And I'm the opposite too.
Yeah.
So how is that
And
flipped
so
around?
I
where
think
I'm
maybe
now,
you're just in a situation where like you're just ahead of your time.
I
You
guess.
know? And
I don't
like,
know.
It's fine.
Chicks these days, you know
I'm
what I mean?
telling
It's
you
like all they
not-
want to do is have sex. I don't know. Like, I just want to have a family.
That is everyone in their 20s.
I'm
Most
like, I just want to have a career and family. And
No,
these chicks these days are just like, I just want to
it's
fuck
an
and
age thing. It's an age thing. And then if you get older and it's still happening to you, it may not be an age thing. It may be the kind of girl you're going after thing.
yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I don't know. I'm just
You think
saying.
I have bad taste in women?
No, there's these patterns, and you have to live long enough to see these patterns in yourself. But you're like, oh, in your 30s is when you actually get like enough data to be able to.
She is truly a marketer.
So like to have insight on yourself and be like,
you have
oh,
accumulated enough data to implement your nefarious plans.
This more than once.
Well, the next question is, what is your race / how them genetics be?
Oh, okay. So
2-part question.
This is a good question. I think people confuse nationality with ethnicity with race all the fucking time.
That's the same shit, actually.
No,
same
it's not.
Shit, yeah.
Race.
Like, are you like white or like black or like Muslim? Like, which one are you?
No.
Are you like black or like
Are you
Muslim?
Italian? Is that Italian
Like
or
Irish or like
what are Italians? Racially,
women,
racially,
Moors,
and Irish. What are they racially?
Wait, who? Italians or Irish?
Both.
Well, both. They're racially inferior.
Holy
Says
shit.
the Irish man.
The
only reason I can say that and get away with that is because I am literally, my race is literally Irish and Italian. So I can say that we're racially inferior. I mean, the media tells me that I'm, privileged and like bad because I'm white. So like we are inferior.
I wish I could study this more. I wish I would have taken a class on like race because like I feel like in my mind, this is just me, my own definition. Like race is like there's not that many. It's like Caucasian.
Yeah, there's like 4 races.
Like, there's
like white people, black people, yellow people,
and brown people. That's
browns.
That's it. Yes, exactly. Fucking exactly.
Pick one and
there's
die on
4, right? Yes, exactly. You got your browns. Yeah. And the blacks are in the browns. The blacks are lumped into that.
Blacks, whites,
no, the blacks are in the browns, and then there's the whites and the
yellers over there in the Asian lands.
Dude, seriously. Okay, so I do think that, and then you get into nationality, and it's like, all right, well, nationality is like
that's
what
your
is
physical
yes,
territory,
exactly,
land that your family's from,
yes, or that you live in currently. I think
like,
that
I'm
you're
white,
a citizen
which is
of
pretty
now.
much European, but like my family's from like Illinois.
What are you a citizen of currently? That's your nationality. To me.
This land is
where
my
you
nation.
live.
This land.
Where do you fucking pay taxes?
My nationality.
That's your nationality. To
race
me.
is white.
And then your ethnicity is a whole other thing. It's like you can be Jewish, your Jewish ethnicity, but you could live in New York, or you could live in Israel, or you could live in
religion,
right?
Right. It's your culture.
Not, but Jewish is a culture, but also religion, right? Like that's a funny one. Actually, that was a bad example, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
but like so using that. So say you're like a practicing Muslim.
Yes.
But you were like born in Israel,
right?
And your parents were like Arabian,
right? So your ethnicity would be
totally
Arabian
weird,
Muslim,
where like people could just so stereotype.
But then your nationality
you
would be Israel.
Like your nation would be Israel because that's like the land you're from,
right? That's
you would
where
be
you
brown because you're Arab.
Yes,
you're one of those brownies.
Yes,
it's like your race would be like Arab, brown or whatever you're gonna clump them into.
I guess, yeah.
Nation would be Israel,
right?
But your ethnicity would be Islam,
Arabian,
or would your ethnicity be Jewish? Because like, is it your religion or is it your culture? Like, is Israel?
Well, it's your parents' culture. Okay, like my mom's Filipino, so like culturally, like there's things that come along with that, you know, and so like the kind of food that she makes, and the, you know, the religious practices, even like being a Catholic, you know, like that's a thing. But then my stepdad,
one true religion.
My stepdad's Jewish.
fake religion.
Whoa, I don't know. But then the only church that I ever went to growing up as a kid was Southern Baptist in Arkansas.
Really?
And so,
the funnest religion.
well, it depends on, like, you know, it's funny. And the white churches, they were like sweating, angrily yelling at you like you're going to go to hell.
Like and overdressed in the South.
But then at the black churches, they were like having so much fun. They were singing. And I was like, I think they're doing it right. They're enjoying their worship. You know what I mean? Which is what you should do, right? Like, I think it's weird to mourn one's worship patterns like that, like where it's almost like a funeral, like that's weird to me.
Obey the ritual
to me
else.
I don't like that.
I like Baptist church because you kind of show up and it's just like a party and they're just like, Jesus is great, and everyone's just like,
that's what I'm saying.
Everyone's just like dancing and smiling, and then everyone leaves and they're like, that was awesome, let's do it again next week,
see you again next Sunday.
Every other church I've ever been to has been like, this is kind of boring, or
no
this is
one
kind of
wants
weird,
to
this is
be
creepy,
there.
Like, man, I'm glad that's over, like, gotta go do that next week, you know?
Yes.
Baptist churches, like black and white, have been like
cheerful
my
and
personal
upbeat.
Anecdotal experience of like fucking parties. Like awesome. Like let's fucking love the Lord. You know? Let's do this.
How's it going,
and
brother?
Like hugging and like it's not weird, and it's like, and then you go to a Catholic church and it's like in another language. It's like quiet.
And then they repeat
creepy,
everything after each other.
Building.
Yes.
Everyone's like talking about eating flesh and drinking blood.
What
like,
is happening here?
Like, what the fuck? And then like everyone's like doing these rituals where like standing up and sitting down together, and you're like, dude, this is just weird. You know, you go do you. If that's bringing you closer to God, great, go do it, man. But I'm gonna go over to those Baptist churches and fucking kick it with James Brown and his soul band and like have fun. You know,
it's tradition.
And we'll
it's
like
a
praise and love our
thing.
God and Creator that way. You know,
right?
I feel like that's
right.
So another question is, what is your religion or like view on God?
Yeah, you know,
because mine is really crazy.
Wait, we didn't go over my race.
Oh yeah, what your genetics be? How them genetics be?
Okay, so
in them genes.
My mom is Filipino mostly, but she says that her mom's like part Chinese too. So,
oh really?
Which makes sense because some of her siblings have really light skin, and then some of her other siblings have really dark skin, and then my dad is English and Scottish and Native American, because the Pitcock name comes from like English Scottish.
Yeah, that sounds very.
They have like
English.
a crest and everything. It's a Scottish thing, Pitcock. But then also
Sir Pitcock of the
in
Norfolk
Arkansas,
clan.
if you go to where my family lives, they have one of the oldest cemeteries in the town. Whoa. And there's some of the early settlers there, so they got it on with the local Indians, and that's where the Native American comes from. Yeah,
Indian blood.
Yeah, we fuck some babies into those Indians, and that's where I came from.
Nice.
So I'm just like this weird like collaboration of like worlds that probably should have never ever
like
crossed.
Lame ass, like you have like the snarky, like sneaky lame ass European, like Anglo, right?
Yeah,
like the British sneakiness, that like colonizer mentality.
But Scotland too, Scottish, like angry, angry,
we get it. You're smart and good at
hillbilly now.
You're also lame as fuck, you know, and then not fun to be around a lot. But you also have like that savage, like earthly, like in tune with nature,
like Pocahontas.
Like, fuck your laws and rules, rebellious mentality of the natives. I like that little savage in you, a little warrior in you.
Dude, I constantly live in two worlds.
Asians, man, whew, they scare me.
Right? They're like the more Nazis,
I trash on China,
worse.
the more I kind of get scared, man. They've been around for like 10,000 years, like fucking people up.
Dude, they're watching.
They make gunpowder. They make all kinds of like potions, dragons. They killed those things. There was, oh yeah. I'll just keep ranting. I'll keep ranting about China while you're gone. I had all these dragons roaming around. They ended up killing all those guys off. That's pretty crazy. They just come over here and steal our pandas with impunity. Donald Trump doesn't do anything about it. They just steal all our jobs. China is insane. They're dangerous, threatening people. We should be more scared of them than we are. my name is Sean, which is like the most Irish dumb fucking name ever. Michael and Catherine were my sister. Mary. It's like all my family is John and Jerry and all these Irish fucking white people names. But good people. Full of logos, strong backbone people. A lot of my family came here in like the early 20th century. Like my grandma and grandpa, I think, both came here on the boat when they were little kids. So my mom's side of my family is like pretty relatively new to the country. And my dad's side, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, the Corey name, is this is a famous guy who was killed in the Salem witch trials.
What?
I've heard about him. He's like one of the main characters in The Crucible.
Shut up.
So Giles Corey, if you ever heard of that guy. Crazy guy.
It's your ancestor?
It's kind of
How do you guys know?
It's kind of this legendary
You're so
badass.
fortunate to know these things.
We'll go over that real quick because I don't think I've ever even talked about that on a podcast. But and I don't even really know. He's either my super, super great grandfather or he's my super, super great uncle. One or the other. So there's some dispute there. But either way, I'm like pretty closely related to him. Wow. But basically what happened was he was rich and old. And I think he was on his third wife. His wives kept dying, but he had a bunch of kids.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Coincidence, huh?
No, childbirth. Childbirth was a killer back then.
But they... what ended up happening is I think when the whole witch trial shit was happening and all these rich people were stealing people's lands and stuff, they accused his wife of being a witch in like a secret plot to like steal all his land. So they put him on trial to admit that his wife was a witch, and then he would sacrifice his lands, right? Because he married a witch. So like something about like the legal system would like nullify his lands, and his children wouldn't inherit the lands. The state would, or the judge would, or something like that. So there's all this like real shady shit, where they're saying his wife's a witch, and they're saying admit your wife's a witch, or else we're gonna take all your shit.
Wow.
So either way, it was like in a lose-lose situation. You either lose your life or you lose your land. And I think he ended up just being a badass and being like, fuck you. I'm not playing your game. No, my wife wasn't a witch. Kiss my ass.
Oh,
so
he
like,
stood up
we're gonna
for
kill
what
you.
he believed
like,
in.
all right, well, then we'll fucking kill you. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So he kind of stood up for her. So that's kind of the dispute. So there's two lines. So some people think he's this heroic, like romantic, like standing up for his wife's integrity. So that's the one everyone wants to believe.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think it was probably a little more practical where it's like, I worked my fucking ass off for 80
this.
years.
Fuck you.
To have my kids inherit this giant, valuable piece of land. You know what I mean? I think it was a little more practical. But even still, that's still kind of badass and respectable where you're like, I'm going to keep my... the principle of it. I'm going to fight for the...
I'm trying to visualize... I'm trying to visualize the drunk history episode of this story right now in my head.
This is Will Ferrell.
It looks really good. It's really good.
Who plays Giles Corey in a movie?
I just imagine you playing Giles.
Me, yeah. Gross. Yuck, he's way too fat.
Oh, no.
Way too fat. Way too white.
Oh, no.
It's 2019. You can't be white in a movie.
Oh, no.
Can't be white and or ginger in a movie anymore.
Oh, no. No, the gingers are actually really... I don't know if it's because I'm with one that I notice, but I see them all the time in stuff.
In movies and stuff?
Yeah. Who doesn't like a hot ginger?
Me.
Dude, my girlfriend has this calendar of like all hot ginger guys. It's kind of amazing.
The thing about ginger women is ginger women are like hot. They're like spicy. Like,
but
they're like
beautiful sometimes.
But it's like intimidating. It's kind of scary. I kind of get scared of
like
redhead
the Phoenix
women.
And like
exactly,
X-Men,
but like in a good way.
They might
scared.
blow your dick off with their mind.
Oh yeah. They'll they'll find a way to like make me their like little pussy whip bitch, and I won't even realize what's happening until it's too late.
Oh,
it's like it scares me in a good way. Like man, they're so badass and like independent and like cool that I would end up just like cucking to them. You know? What I mean?
See what you're saying.
I'd be a little redhead cuck. But like a blonde, I'd be like.
Well,
okay,
I read
honey.
somewhere the market for blondes is about to burst.
Okay, honey, that's cute thought. Great.
Wow.
But I think a redhead would like, yeah. But yeah, I'll wrap up my family history by just saying, so Giles, so basically what they did is they put a giant rock on him. And they're like, admit your wife's a witch. And he's like, no. And there's the famous line is he said, "More weight," and they put a bigger rock on him.
Oh yeah.
And they, say your wife's a witch. He's like, fuck you.
Yeah, they had the worst.
Put another rock on him. And they're like, just say your fucking wife's a witch, bro. It'll all be over. And he's like, fuck you, and I'm cursing you, and I'm cursing this fucking town, and like all these ghost stories about all that.
They killed him.
And so eventually the weight just killed. I mean, he just crushed him to death, But he just kept saying no.
Wow.
So he ended up dying without admitting his wife was a witch, which kept the legal status of the land, and his son inherited it.
Can I just say that is so hot?
Oh yeah, it's pretty badass. So that's like my relatives are like this rebellious, like
okay.
Like I always wonder, like, yeah, where did I get this rebelliousness from? Because my mom's side is kind of like
docile,
kind of like Irish little pussies, like the pussy versions of the Irish people. Irish people know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Little like passive aggressive, kind of cowardly. Spirits, not bad. I mean, those people kind of end up being like
hobbits,
like nice.
They're like hobbits,
like fun people.
Okay,
but it's also like just weak.
No backbone,
kind of. Yeah.
Oh, they're not Vikings.
Yeah. They were the people that the Vikings raided.
Right.
Like they were the cool, chill dudes that were like building all this stuff, and then the Vikings would come and steal all their shit.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, God damn it, not again.
Yeah. Got it.
Well, I guess we just rebuild. I guess we just have more fun and just rebuild again.
Gotta keep positive.
20 years from now, they'll steal our stuff. But it'll be fun 20 years. That's my Irish family. Like there's some Irish families that are like, oh, what? You looked at me the wrong way? I'm going to fucking destroy my life trying to fight you right now. Because the pride of my life and my family honor depends on me punching you right now in a drunken stupor, Wow. It's like there's kind of different types of Irish people, I think. And I got a little more of that passive gene.
Yeah.
But my dad's side's that more like English rebellion, like had farms in America, fought in like the Civil War for the side of the North, like rebellion, like fuck you, like we're gonna fight for our ideals and like what we believe in, kind of idea. So I have that kind of history, that bloodline. But the reason it's actually different, so then it's kind of a conspiracy. So when Giles did die, I think he had 5 or 6 sons. And so they all scattered. They were all like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
like,
right.
This is that shit's not happening to me. Like, great, Dad.
Run
sorry
away.
that happened to you, but
abort. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna go move to Illinois.
Yeah.
I think it was Ohio. I think they all moved to like Ohio.
That's amazing.
Kentucky.
You know this story.
But they changed their name.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So there's all these Corys all over the country that you'll hear a bunch of different Cory people or Corleys. There's Corleys, Corly. Mm-hmm. And we're all descendants of Giles, but we all, like our ancestors kind of ran away and like a little cowardly, ran away, changed the name, started a new life.
Yeah.
So it's debated. I guess my name is the real true name, Cory.
Mm-hmm.
But when you read about like the Crucible or you look them up on Wikipedia, it's like Corey.
Oh no.
So there's like debate. There's like some drama and some debate and some shadiness. I don't really know or trust. I mean, it's like 400-year-old legal documents. I don't really trust that shit,
Yeah, you shouldn't.
So I kind of just vaguely yeah, he was an ancestor of mine.
Okay.
Kind of. Like I know that much. I don't really know the details. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so my mom is from the Philippine Islands, grew up in the Philippines, like had to take care of her siblings at like age 9, and doing whatever she needed to do to support her family.
Growing up way too young.
And then my dad was grew up in Arkansas, hillbilly. His dad was a truck driver and his mom worked at a factory her whole life, grew up from the Ozark Mountains with a ton of brothers. And so, just my dad was in the Marine Corps for a long time and then went to prison for a little bit and then got out of prison and now does what he does now. And my mom married some 6'5" Jewish cop that is also on his way to retiring, and she worked at Disneyland just a weird 2 sides, completely different people, on both sides.
You're the prime example of the melting pot.
Totally. I exist.
You're like the brown version of the melting pot. I'm like the white version of the melting. I'm like the European melting pot, and you're like everything else melting pot.
I constantly live in two worlds, and I don't, when people are like, you need to choose a side, I don't know how to choose sides. It's a problem for me on multiple levels.
Sides,
fuck sides.
Honestly, if people tell you to choose sides,
fuck them.
Yeah, they're the problem.
That's right.
We're fist bumping
Knuckles.
right now. That was a fist bump.
I hate being forced to pick sides. It depresses me. Like,
I've just reached the point where I'm like, I break the opposite way. Like when someone's like, "Oh, are you a Republican?" I'm like,
I'm not now.
Sure. No, I am now. Oh, what? You don't want me to be Republican? Okay, I'm gonna fucking pretend to be the biggest, hardest Republican.
Oh no!
But the flip side around, like, what? You spoke out against Trump? Like, you don't want me to speak out against Trump?
So you,
let's go.
You are the devil's advocate, is what we hear.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
I just have that rebellious, like, I gotta.
Oh no!
But it's almost like I can be totally fine just chilling. The problem is when someone like tells, like, the problem is when someone's like,
puffy chest up at you.
How dare you mock Ben Shapiro? It's like, okay. I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
You're gonna accuse me of something.
You're gonna really get offended.
We're gonna do it right.
You don't have the right to mock. Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh yeah? Well, I'll show you.
Oh no!
I exactly have that right. And I'm gonna waste 4 hours of my life.
Yeah, right. Like that's how passive aggressive I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking shit on you for 4 hours. You don't
Prove
even
you
know
wrong,
it.
Guy I don't know or will ever meet in my life. I'll show you.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my mind. That's how my mind works. That's my crazy. My crazy is that. Like I just. And I'm always been the conspiracy theorist because like whenever the media is like, "Hey, this thing happened," and it's all kind of shady, I'm like the guy that's like, "No, that thing definitely didn't happen."
What else happened?
I'm like kind of looking around like, "Hey, does no one else see that like they're totally lying to us?" And now that like it's actually like coming out, I kind of feel almost like mad, like jealous, like God damn it! Like I used to be that guy that was the. Like, you guys used to call me crazy when I was like Hillary Clinton was killing people, and now it's like everyone's joking about it. It's kind of like, man, it's like when you like listen to your SoundCloud rapper and then he gets famous 3 months later.
You're like, I've been listening to that fool for like 6 months.
You guys are posers. You guys weren't you weren't there when he was performing in front of a,
Where's my trophy?
When he couldn't even sell out a small theater.
Where's
and now
my
you're talking
trophy?
about how you're the biggest fan ever and running his fan page. You guys are such posers. But it's like kind of like, dude, just shut up. We're all fans, dude. Just let it go, So that's me. I'm like a little rebellious just by nature.
You never know if grandma's fucking around. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
Duh. That's like those racists, they always crack me up. I'm like, I guarantee they're like a quarter black. Like,
I always thought like growing up, I wasn't like, I always had secret thoughts that like I wasn't my dad's son.
Right? We've all had that, right?
Because I was like a super mistake baby, like super unplanned, way after my other siblings.
Of the blue.
And like I always had like super blonde hair as a little kid, and then my hair kind of got darker. But it's just a little different than like my brother and my dad's. I've always just been like a little like, maybe I'm not, But now, like, if I take a picture of me and like my dad at my age, it's like identical. It's like a little kid. There's just something weird, like from age 3 to 15. I just totally did not share any of the traits of my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by the time I was 20, like my body was just like, oh, time to look like him. Time to become your dad. Right now. It's like same hair color, same beard length, everything's the same.
Him. That's funny.
Yeah. So
That's
it's my
funny.
dumb little like scare. I mean, it was just dumb thought. I mean, it wasn't based on anything. It wasn't like my mom was cheating or like, It was like just totally me just being stupid, scared little kid, like in denial or whatever. But
in this time, just a shitty time for kids.
All those people out there. I've heard horror stories where it's guy finds out that he raised 3 kids.
Yeah.
18 years each, spent his whole life.
Yeah, but those kids loved him as if he was their father. They don't know. Oh, that's.
I think the story I read was 2 of the kids got mad at him.
Why? What did he do?
Abandoned him and like chose the mom's side, and they were like adults, so it's like whatever, they can just go on their way. But he spent his whole life raising these kids.
So just because somebody spends money on you doesn't mean, look, I spent money on you, but I raped you in the ass every day. So you fucking owe me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, let's think a little deeper. If you're a decent human being, a kid that you took in that didn't have a father will fucking give you credit.
That's true.
Bottom line. Yeah. If there's something wrong or something fishy there, that's also going to come to light. Yeah. Like, people don't abandon people that they love and did good things for them for no reason. That just doesn't happen. Like, so I want to know more about this story before I pass judgment.
I think it was in England too. I think it was.
Oh well, fuck them. No, I'm just kidding.
British fucks.
No, I like the
Anglo
British.
fucks.
No, I really love the way they talk.
I don't.
I
gross.
love it.
Gross.
It's so proper.
Oh, talk like this, like we got cotton balls in our mouth or something. We got cotton balls in our mouth, and we're gonna get our guns, and we're gonna take all your stuff.
Not that one.
We're gonna come try to take over the world.
I'm talking about
our
the
queen is the greatest
one.
fucking person ever. How dare you make fun of our queen?
That sounds very Canadian. That sounds Canadian. That doesn't even sound.
Hi-yo.
Yeah, that is.
What do British people say? I want a crisp. I want some chips, some fish and chips.
That's a Canadian British person whose grandpa was from
then you get like Cockney guys that talk, or like the.
You sound like those London prostitutes where they're like, "Oh,
hey governor, we're talking. Hey, they've been popping the moms and how you governor?
Get your pecker out my knickers." There's variances, right?
The Peaky fucking Blinders.
Wow.
Like that. Like the Birmingham.
Right.
Birmingham, but like English Birmingham.
Totes.
Not the Alabama or Birmingham.
There is, I can pick a Georgia accent. Oh man, I can identify. So, no, but I mean, in people, I can identify. I'm like, oh, that guy's from Georgia, and I'm pretty spot on. Like, for some reason, that's one that I can
like that difference between being like a hillbilly and a redneck.
And
like,
Louisiana, I can tell a Louisiana accent a little different than a
Louisiana is
Georgia.
Like, whoa.
It's fancy. It rolls off the tongue.
You know a Louisiana accent because they're like,
it's
whoa,
nice.
That is not English.
It's so fancy. It's like you're trying to
like mumble like this and they talk like get down to New Orleans.
Oh no, you're talking about
get down to New Orleans. Put barbecue tomorrow. Like, what the hell are you saying,
you
bro?
You find those people in Florida too. Those are swamp people. That's swamp people talk.
I drank too much moonshine when I was a teenager.
I'm talking about rich Louisiana people where they talk like this and they always talk like this and that. Yes.
I feel like that's like I get into like a girl when I do. I feel like that's Georgia when you get like the Southern Belle Peach in a homestead on the plantation.
No, that's Louisiana, honey.
I'm a little that's a little that's like a little North Carolina, a little Raleigh, North Carolina, tobacco fields. And then Mississippi's like this, be like real slow, like, and
oh, that's Arkansas.
You're almost like, hurry up, man. Why are you talking like this and stuff all the time? I'm from Mississippi.
You gotta spill it.
I speak really slow, but we named our state the longest and most confusing name ever. That's Mississippi. Yeah. What is Texas? Texas is like, yeehaw! Like,
yeehaw! And tootiness and
we our own country down in Texas.
Texas.
You root.
Everything.
Don't mess with Texas.
Big Texas.
Got the oil fields down in Texas.
Right. Oh no! What's an Illinois accent?
It's just me. It's just this talking. Illinois is crazy because Illinois is like Chicago. You got like
Chicago.
You got Chicago. It's basically like a bootlegger, like an Al Capone, like an Irish, like see, like an old timey,
right.
The newspapers. We got the newspapers here.
We got the newspapers
but like
here.
kind of a modern day twang.
Okay.
And we're from Chicago. We got the little pizzas and the pot pies and the hot dogs and like a little like. I can't even do it because I'm from like downstate. So in downstate, it's a little mix
like,
of like
go Bears
city, but also a little more like we talk a little more like this, and we say, "You want a pop?"
You know what I'm
saying? I'm gonna go to the store and get a pop for breakfast.
When I lived in Arkansas, I remember girls in school would be like, they would say, "Oh man," and it would be so awful because sometimes they'd accentuate their accents and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, "Oh,
hey y'all."
That's like trying real. Hey y'all.
Well, that's like the St. Louis Ozark.
Yeah,
is like a little more of that like
cheerful.
It's like a woodsy. It's like a woodsman.
Yeah.
I feel like woodsman's
like Dolly Parton's time.
The only time I've been in the Ozarks was around rich tourist people from the Midwest that go party there in the summer.
We want to go.
So I know.
So do you know what a good place to stay? Brian and I are wanting to go. Like we should go on a trip.
I've only been one time.
Ozarks.
So that's my only impression of it.
Oh, shit.
It's one time boat trip in some city in Missouri. Southern Missouri.
Missouri.
Southern
Missouri.
See, that's why I feel like we were more like a St. Louis, Indianapolis, Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana, where it's like kind of Kentucky. Like we'd be more like this. Like this is my talk. Like where it's like kind of a little bit twangy. We talk a little bit too fast. If you get me rolling, you get me talking. I'm gonna go, and then you start to hear that twang in the words because you're like not. But I feel like Champaign is just a little different because if you were like to go 20 minutes outside, you would have an accent like this from Monticello or Muhammad or from Macomb or from there's all these like small little towns in Illinois where people totally talk like this. Like this actually kind of feels this is a Carbondale accent. You know what I mean? Hey y'all. You go to Champaign, it's like people are actually like university professor, kids of professors.
Right.
And
they don't talk like
people
that.
from Chicago, where it's a little more that twangy Chicago.
Wow.
So that's weird. The Midwest is weird, where it's like just pockets like that.
Yeah.
I always thought the South was kind of vague, like a little more spread out. Like, you'd have like groupings
There's a
of
lot of
states.
space. Yeah.
Like I feel like Bama and Georgia are like the same kind of accent. And
Yeah.
then like Mississippi and like Louisiana are kind of the same.
And
other than
Arkansas
Creole.
is kind of in that.
And then it's like Missouri and Arkansas.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I feel like it's almost like two states. Like Kentucky, Tennessee are kind of the same. Virginia, North Carolina. But then you get to like the Midwest and it really starts being like cities.
Yeah.
Like Detroit's so much different than Chicago, which is so much different than Indianapolis, which is so much different than
huge groupings of
Madison,
humans,
which is different than Minneapolis. And
right.
Because those Minnesotas are like that. Crazy.
Minnesota. You want to get some cheese? Cheese will watch the Green Bay Packers. And I'm from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. It's like that like German,
yes.
It's not like whole states. I feel like it starts getting weird, more like city-specific accents.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just ignorant because I'm from there. It's like you. Like if you're from the South, you probably notice the cities more.
Well, I lived in Madison for a little bit, which is a small town.
Super liberal.
Right outside Nashville.
Oh, in Tennessee.
Yes.
Madison, Tennessee.
I spent 6th grade there. And you ever see that movie Save the Last Dance? Where Julia Stiles moves.
But I like where this is going.
Moves to a school where it's all black kids, and she's like one of the 5 white kids that go to the school. That's how I felt when I moved from Arkansas schools my whole life, and then in 6th grade, like went to Madison, Tennessee. First of all, it's all black kids at the school, and even I with this brownness, this toasty almond brownness, was still considered like a honky in this fucking environment, which was so weird to me.
Cracker. Look at that cracker.
Yeah, but like I was like a toasted cracker, you know what I mean? Like
a whole wheat cracker.
Like they left me in the oven a little longer than the rest of the crackers.
Just cut the edges off. It'll be fine.
They just stuck me in there. They're like, it's fine. They won't know. And sometimes people are excited to get the more toasted cracker. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely, definitely.
Remember the Holocaust. Remember these who are like the Holocaust.
What? What was that?
Right? That's why it's called That's Offensive.
Oh, yeah. I believe in free speech, but also like, if you're talking shit, man, you're gonna get your ass beat. Like, what is your race / how them genetics be? Like, are you like white or like black or like Muslim?
What are Italians? Racially?
Women. They're racially inferior. Yeah, there's like 4 races.
Like, you know,
there's like white people, black people, yellow people,
and brown people. That's
browns.
Yes.
Hot dudes.
And they
just
make
hit on me
good
all the time.
money.
Like, I am like primo man.
You're like a.
So I feel like my life would be so much easier for the past 5 years if I was just gay. Like I could just be slamming hot dudes all the time. Like for real, like slamming dudes. Getting that dick, you know what I mean? Getting tons of dick all the time. Slamming that dick. Get this guy some dick. Jesus. I'm regrettably straight.
We've gone a little long about on the topic. I'm concerned for you. Fine.
Chicks these days, you know what I mean? It's like all they want to do is have sex. Just this is a family reunion. Can you please just not talk about how you like penis in your butt?
Oh, okay.
Just please, like it's okay. Like you just don't have to bring it up.
Yes.
Can you just talk about like what you're doing and like have a fun time tonight? Like I don't need to hear about your like second boyfriend.
That's all I want.
I'll like spend an hour listening to like Ariana Grande and like truly getting into it. Oh, you fucking chick, bro.
Yeah, you fucking fag.